welcoming Sri Rajesh Rabindranath ji with an heartfelt applause. He is a known expert of Vedanta, scriptures, yoga, and modern management. He has a keen inclination for Vedanta and scriptures since graduation, and his deep interest in spirituality took him on a never ending journey of self awareness and self awakening. To attain his spiritual goal, he addresses in various programs, conferences, seminars in New Jersey, USA on Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta to bring out the message of Vedic scriptures in the light of modern science and management. He is also an esteemed co founder of Project Self USA and is on a mission to enlighten, prepare, and grow people spiritually and guide them to understand and follow the real meaning of life. I am so privileged to welcome Sri Rajesh Rabindranath ji to enlighten us with his deep and life changing message.
Namaste, everybody. I'm so happy and honored to be part of this wonderful conclave. So, today, the topic of my discussion is an interesting one. It is law of karma and spirituality. It's a vast topic, and we don't have much time. So, whatever time we have, we will try to understand the gist of it. So, let's see first what is law of karma. Let's understand what is law of karma, and then we will relate that law of karma with spirituality. Friends, as intelligent human being, it's not very difficult for you to observe the various laws of nature that is playing around you. If you open your eyes and look at the world, you could see a regular pattern in everything. Every day there is sunrise, sunset. You can see that the seasons are changing. You can see that the rains are coming. You can see that pattern everywhere in the universe. On the physical level, you can see a perfect order. On the physiological level itself, you can see that your body is growing, you're putting weight, and if you do exercise, you're losing the weight. You can see that the digestive system is functioning. You can see that a perfect law is there that governs your body. And psychologically, there is a perfect pattern. You can see that how a human mind works. The discovery of the physical laws of the universe is the scope of the physics. The discovery that governs the laws of the physiology is biology. The discovery of how the human mind works is psychology. Nobody has created these laws. The science is only trying to understand these laws. These laws, if you really think about these laws, you can see that these laws are part of the intelligent order of the universe. You can see that intelligence everywhere in the universe. This intelligent order of the universe, the Vedas call it as Ishvara or the God. So please understand this concept very well, because for you to understand the law of karma, you need to first understand that intelligent order of the universe and the universal laws. The Vedas defines Ishvara as the one who governs, the one who manages this intelligent order of the universe. That is why the universe is a universe. It's not a chaos. Even the measure of disorder, which we call it as entropy, is part of that order. And now let's come to these laws of karma. This law of karma is an important law in the universe. So let's try to understand a little bit clearly what is that law of karma. The word karma comes from the Sanskrit root kr. The word kr, the root kr means to do. So what is the word karma means? It has a larger meaning. The simple meaning is anything you do with a karana is karma. Anything you do with an instrument is karma. The instruments can be divided on a high level into two. One is called Bahya Karana and the other one is called Antakarana. Bahya Karana consists of all your sense organs, the five organs of perception and the five organs of action. So anything you do with your hand is a karma. Anything you see with your eyes is a karma. Anything you speak is a karma. So anything you do with a sense organ can be called as a karma. So anything you do with a karana is a karma. And of course, you may use upakaranas, the external instruments to enhance the power of the karana, but anything you do with a sense organ is known as karma. And also, the scope is not just limited there. Anything you do with your inner instruments, the inner instruments consist of your mind and intellect. So any thought you encounter, any feeling you encounter is also karma. So karma consists of anything you do, anything you feel, anything you think. This is karma. But the scope never ends there. Please listen to this interesting observation. Whenever you do a karma, whether with an antakarana or a bahyakarana, external instrument or an internal instrument, this karma will produce a result. These results are also twofolds. One is there is an obvious result or an external result. For example, if I find that a child is struggling to pay his fees, what I can do? I can pay some money. So the external result is, of course, I may be losing that much money from my pocket. That is one result. Second thing is I might be seeing a smile on the face of that child. And the third thing is that child was able to pay the fees. These are all obvious. These are all external results. Sometimes these results will come immediately and sometimes the results will come later. This is the external results or drishtaphala, if you use the technical term. But apart from this drishtaphala, the law of karma or the universal law states that there is an adrishtaphala, an unseen result, which will accumulate as part of your karmic account. So along with the drishtaphala, there will be adrishtaphala for every karma we do. Mind you, the scope of the karma is anything you do, anything you feel, anything you think, that will have a drishtaphala and that will have an adrishtaphala. And these adrishtaphala is going to shape your life. Who you are in this world, what you are, what type of playground you get to play the game of your life, it is completely determined by these adrishtaphala. And this is also known as karma. So if you define the karma, the scope of the karma includes the action we do and also the adrishtaphala we accumulate. And this adrishtaphala has a bigger impact in our life. This adrishtaphala is going to determine the future course of our life. Please don't understand this as fate, because fate means you don't have any control of the situation. Here it means that these karmas are going to determine the type of playground I'm going to get. But how do I play in that playground? It is completely in my control. So the law of karma is going to determine the type of situation I would be encountering in my life, in this life or next life. And this is a fair game. I am responsible for what I'm getting. It makes me completely responsible. This is not a God is going to determine A is going to get this life, B is going to get that life. No, if that is the case, there is no fairness. And that will not and that cannot happen from all powerful or merciful God. So the karma is going to determine what type of environment I like. And I have the choice. How do I play in that playground? I can choose to retire. I can fail. Or I can, if I play well, I can succeed. This is what makes our success and failure. The great scripture Mahabharata discussed this topic extensively between a conversation between Yudhishthira and Draupadi. So the Yudhishthira explains the effect of karma like the current of a river. You're supposed to cross the river. And if means for some people there won't be, means the current would be completely in their favor. So even if they don't put any effort, you can see that the current itself is going to carry them. But sometimes what happens, if the current is completely opposite towards where you are traveling, you need to put extra effort, or you need to employ the right strategies to cross the karma. So that's what determines how do we live our life. So in short, what is karma? Karma means any action you do, whether it is with your physical instrument or inner instrument, it is going to produce a drishtaphala, a visible result, and an adrishtaphala, and this adrishtaphala is going to determine your next course of action. So this is what the law of karma. And this law of karma is applicable to all the people, irrespective of caste, creed, and nationality. The God is not going to do any favor to anybody, right? He is not going to curse a person. He is not going to determine that this person's life is going to be difficult, that person's life is going to be better. That is never going to happen. Everybody will be given the results of their karma. If not this life, it is going to come in the next life. This is very important. And this is what is law of karma. And now let's see the role of spirituality in this law of karma. Spirituality, the word spirituality is obviously, it's a word coming from the French e-spirit, which internally came from a Latin word. The loose translation of this word spirituality means you are going back to your own image, your own true self, if that is the meaning. How can we deal with this law of karma? So the being spiritual is, the first step is to recognize the impact of this karma in your life. That itself is difficult. A lot of people don't even recognize that my karma is going to shape me. They never pay any attentions to what they are doing. So that's the first step. Second thing is recognizing this intelligent order of the universe. When you recognize that intelligent order of the universe and surrender your karma in front of that intelligent order of the universe, the way you perform the action becomes a yoga. The Bhagavad Gita brilliantly defines this idea in the 18th chapter, verse 46, when Krishna tells, Yatat pravritti bhutanam ena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana todarchasya siddhim vindati manavaha. So when you understand the impact of karma in your life, the best thing you can do, or the intelligent thing you can do, is convert your karma into karma yoga. So converting karma into karma yoga involves two steps. The first thing is recognizing this intelligent order of the universe, then dedicating your karma as an offering to that intelligent order of the universe, Ishvara. So offer your karma as an appreciation in front of the God. So the prayer, the conventional prayer, which you think as sitting in front of a puja room or going to a church, temple, or a mosque, it will be transcended into any work you do. This is essentially the karma yoga. And when you do that, what is going to happen? Krishna promises that you are going to get siddhi. And also the second chapter, verse 50, Krishna tells, when you do karma in the spirit of karma yoga, yogaha karma sukhaushalam, the karmas are going to become like very productive. Dexterity in action is karma yoga. So the spiritualizing your karma means you are doing the karma yoga, and that is going to make your karmas intelligent and efficient, and eventually it is going to lead you to the ultimate freedom in your life. In other words, what the spirituality is going to give, the law of karma, is it is going to give you the freedom in action. It is going to make you to face your karma properly, and it is going to make you responsible and build your future by doing the appropriate karma. So this is a short description of the law of karma and spirituality. So let's recap quickly. What is law of karma? Law of karma is one of the intelligent order of the universe, the natural law of the universe, which is applicable to anybody and everybody in the life. Second thing is the karma means whatever you do with a karana is karma. So whatever you do with your external instruments or your sense organs, or the internal instruments, which is your mind and intellect, is constitute of karma. And every karma gives an adrishta phala, and that is going to determine your future course of action or the situation that you encounter in your life. You have complete freedom. How do you act in that situation? But that situation is influenced by this law of karma. And how do you spiritualize this? One is recognize the law of karma, recognize the intelligent order of the universe, and convert karma to karma yoga. And that is going to help you to lead an intelligent life. I'm so happy to share my thoughts in this topic. As you know, this is a vast and complicated topic. If you have any questions, you can subscribe this channel. We conduct the Bhagavad Gita session, which covers this topic extensively. And once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, respected Rajesh ji. In such a small time, you elaborated such a big topic. Really, as you rightly said, in summary, life is karma modified. And as you said, that we are the master of our own fate. We are not the victim, but the victor in life. And the way is karma yoga, as you mentioned, says Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much for inspiring us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We thank Shri Rajesh Rabindranath ji for his beautiful explanation. Thank you so much.